What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing you Ravens content every single day. Now, we're waiting for this Baltimore Ravens game versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a pretty exciting game for a few reasons. I think the biggest reason is, we get to see the Ravens players that we haven't gotten to see in a lot. And Joshua's in here now. I'm going to add him in. Joshua, how you feeling for this game?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Yeah, it's good to have Ravens football back.
Yep.
I don't know if you already said it before we started the stream. Rest in peace to the GOAT, Sean Taylor, today. His 15 years. So I know we don't have Ronnie today. Charlie Kolar and David has been deactivated, supposedly.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to play today. I know there was potential for them to play. Yeah. Also, the game's in a weather warning right now, so don't know exactly when it's actually going to start.
It did start raining like 45 minutes ago. Bro.
Yeah. Which is always fun. But there's a lot of things going on in this game. I think the biggest thing is the Ravens got to show once again that they are a really good defense, right? This is a game where you got to prove it. We've been talking about, hey, they got to play lights out defense. They got to back it up. They have to continue to play great defense. And is this a good situation for this team to really show that they're elite, Joshua?
I would say no, only for the simple fact that this is an up and coming team. They haven't reached that standpoint of where they are a threat. Now, if we were talking about the Denver Broncos matchup, I would say that game would be more intricate to this defense showing like, hey, we're really here. Even though they have been showing that, but really making that statement. I just don't see the Jacksonville offense as threatening. I mean, they got Trevor Lawrence, they got Travis Etienne. Do the Jacksonville Jaguars have Marvin Jones?
Marvin Jones, Christian Kirk.
Okay, and Marvin Jones, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, even Chat, I don't know if he's really been playing like that this year anyway. So, I mean, I don't feel like this offense is, one of those offenses where, we had to make a statement, but still let our presence be known and, come out and win the game. Don't come out flat-footed, of course. Treat everybody as as a regular opponent. But we can't get lackadaisical. We definitely can't get lackadaisical, neither on offense nor on defense.
Yeah, and a big part of this game, I think I also realized, I threw Kyle Hamilton I did throw Kyle Hamilton in the thumbnail. I got to take Kyle Hamilton out of this thumbnail. I'm sad now.
He's out.
Actually, you know what? No, I give up. I'm sorry. If you clicked on this video and you're upset, I'm sorry. I don't have the saved file anymore. I didn't save it. It's a week 11 template. I'm sorry. I thought he was playing when I'm in. I was like, oh, I think he's going to be in. Oh, well. But, yeah, this game, I think it's big because it's a different type of team. It's a different type of style. This is a team that wants to get their running back the football, whether it's throwing the ball or running the ball. And Travis Etienne's been a really good back this year. I think Ravens got to show once again that they are no longer going to be beaten by these types of teams, these running teams, because that's how they've struggled in the past. It's like, hey, teams with these like kind of quick and shifty backs have been able to break consistent tackles from our linebackers. They've been able to get big runs. Even week 1 against the Jets, they were breaking some runs because the tackling from the linebacker group wasn't there. The linebacker group is now much better. David Tyus Bowser. We have obviously Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen.
Yeah,
I think showing that they can do that is going to be really big, establishing themselves when they go up against the Steelers, when they go up against the Broncos, when they go up against, maybe the Titans in the playoffs or something like that. These are teams that want to run the football. We need to establish that that's not easy against the Ravens. That should not be your game plan. And I see a lot of people in the chat, everybody, how you doing? Don C's in here. How you doing, Don C? Benjamin also says, how about the World Cup team not losing to England? Shout out the 0-0 draw. Always good to see that. And yeah, we did do a really good job against Kamara and Foreman. I think you just have to build on that. I think that's just the biggest thing. And Spooky J, where the Titans ahead of us, it's because they have a better record against the AFC. That's why they're above us.
but it's okay. this this team is, we said it before, this team's been building momentum within the games, and that's been the good thing about us. So I mean, whether we get a break or not, I think we still will be good rolling into the playoffs. Only thing is, we have to still, we have to play the style of football that got us into the playoffs, and not
Yeah.
change up.
Yeah, Adam 78. This is a big game for the Ravens defense because they've been rolling, and you want to keep that going. You don't want to have a game where you allow one of these receivers to go off on you, and that gives other teams with confidence where they're like, yeah, our wide receiver is better than Christian Kirk. Whether it's the Chiefs in the playoffs and they say, yeah, we've got Juju, we've got Kadarius Toney. Whether it's the Bills and they go, yeah, we got Stephon Diggs. There's way you don't want to show that there's ways to beat you in defense when you're trying to play the type of defense that the Ravens are trying to play, which is truly stifling defense, which the NFL doesn't have. That you can't allow teams to put up big games, no matter who it is. Now, there's a little bit of an exception when it's against a great offense, right? If you go against the 49ers, you allow 27 points, that's fine. But you don't want to go up against the Jaguars and allow 27. If you are that truly stifling defense. The Ravens could allow more than, 25 points and still win this game. I don't have questions about that. The question is, how good is the defense if they do allow that type of points?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that. I mean, and the style. The good thing about it, I haven't watched that much Jacksonville Jaguars football. They're not that type of that. Even though they use a running back for many purposes, like a Christian McCaffrey or Alvin Kamara. Their offense is not like a Kansas City Chiefs type of offense, or a used to be LA Rams type of offense where they can score easily and quickly. They still have to move down the field methodically, in a way. So I mean, getting some of the key pieces back, especially in that front seven, I feel like that's going to slow things down a lot. And I mean, we gotta continue talking about it. Since the addition of Roquan Smith, it's really been an upgrade. And it really has shown, even though he's only played 2 games with us, but those 2 games he was already made a strong presence. I mean, it was the same thing when we got Earl Thomas, the same way when we got Marcus Peters. Hell, even the beginning of the season when Marcus Williams was playing, and we're getting them back. In maybe possibly mid-December, because I did hear that he had started practicing, so that's a good note. So I mean, we're still getting and adding those pieces back together. So I mean, it's definitely good that our defense is making the stand and making the push that we have been doing. Because who was it that we held to under 20 points that had high power offense? Even though that we lost, Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, Cincinnati, we held them to 19, I think, or we beat them 19-17.
Yeah.
And that was with Jamar Chase. That wasn't a pseudo game.
Mm-hmm.
Pulling up the Ravens schedule right here. Ravens held. Well, I mean, like technically, the Saints are a really high scoring offense, but I don't think their offense is very good. We held the Bills to 23, which is really good. And we held them to basically 20. They scored a game-winning field goal with 0 seconds left. So, like, holding those teams, the Buccaneers to 22, but that was a garbage time, kind of comeback. So it's just like, yeah, they had 49 seconds left. They threw a touchdown to Tom Brady, or from Tom Brady to Julio Jones. So it's like, those are the types of things where it's like, it's okay if you allow those last second touchdowns. It hurts the stats, but like, it shows the defense is elite. Even though the stats don't reflect, it's like, okay, they dominated that game on defense.
Right.
They had that game against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, they really struggled in that game until the fourth quarter when the Ravens started saying, okay, let's just not allow the quick touchdown like we did against Miami, and we'll be good. And I see Miguel is asking, when is David playing? That's the age-old question. We're still waiting to hear about when he'll get in.
Do we let him play against it's his first game against the Steelers?
That'd be tough.
Tough as hell. But that's what it might be looking like. I mean, we're being completely honest. That might be his first game.
First game, first defensive touchdown. That's the type of thing I'm looking for.
That
out
would
of
be
out of the
lovely.
rookie.
That would be lovely. Look at what his counterpart up there doing up in Detroit.
Oh yeah, I mean he's dominant. He got multiple picks. I think he got picked off Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
He's been dominating, and I think it'd be really funny if David Ojabo came out, had his first game against the Steelers because if y'all didn't know, David Ojabo in college repped the number 55. The Ravens' best pass rusher ever repped the number 55, and his best opponent was always the Steelers. That man owned the Pittsburgh Steelers, T Sizzle.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, getting that would be really cool to see him, even though I think he's wearing, what's he wearing, 90 for us?
Yeah, he's wearing 90.
90, yeah.
T Sizzle did have a jump interception off of Big Ben.
T Sizzle had everything off of Big Ben. That man was doing everything.
Yes, sir.
Dawson, Trevor's looked really good this year. I've watched the Jags a fair amount. They're a hard fighting team. They don't have a good record, but they're in a lot of their games and they've had good comebacks. They are not a team to be taken lightly by any means. They're not. The Texans just suck.
Mm-hmm.
As I say that, they're gonna beat the Dolphins or something today, but the Texans are terrible. They don't have a good quarterback. The only good piece on offense they have is Damian Pierce. Their defense is terrible. They do have Derek Stingley, who's played really well. But other than that, it's okay, they got nothing. The Jaguars have pieces. They have playmakers. They got Josh Allen on defense. They have Andre Sisco on defense, a good safety out of Clemson, drafted, I think, 2 years ago. He's really stepped up this year. They have, I believe, Quandre Diggs, or they have Diggs. Yeah, I think it's Quandre Diggs, who came over from the Seahawks. He's playing corner for them. He's looked pretty good. I think he's with the Jaguars, or that may be the Jets. But I think they have a corner. And now I got to look up the depth chart. Darn it.
Quandre should be with Jacksonville because DJ Reed is over there with the Jets.
Okay, yeah, it's DJ Reed. Okay, yeah, perfect. I'm going to make sure I'm not mixing up the depth chart. Yeah, so their cornerbacks are Tyson Campbell. Oh no, I think he is over in, or maybe he's hurt right now. He could be hurt. Oh, they have Shaq Griffin. That's who they have from Seattle. That's who got hurt. I knew they had a Seattle DB, but he's hurt right now. He's on IR. Thank you, Chris Reed. Appreciate it. But overall, this team, they also have playmakers on offense. Christian Kirk's looked really good this year. As a number one wide receiver. Trevor Lawrence has looked really good. And then Travis Etienne's been kind of the engine, using him exactly how, we talked about pre-draft, Joshua. Hey, let's go after Travis Etienne because you can use him as a pass catcher. Even though he wasn't used crazy amounts as a pass catcher in college, it was hey, you can use this guy like an Alvin Kamara, and he could really dominate for you. And he came in and everyone was like, oh man, he dropped that pass in his first game of the year. Everyone was like, oh man, he's terrible. And it's oh wait, no, he's actually really good. Same thing. It's the same thing when guys miss a year and they come back. They start off rusty. Jamar Chase struggled in preseason. Everyone's like, oh man, waste of a pick. It's guys, give him a second. Let him play for just one moment.
Yeah, man. So let me ask you, how did you feel about those Thanksgiving Day football games? Even though we're talking about the Ravens.
Thanksgiving football, I thought it was pretty good. Overall, kind of really I hate the Lions. I don't know if people know this about me. I truly hate the Detroit Lions.
Well, I wanted the Lions to win, but
I wanted them to win just so they beat Buffalo.
Yeah, they pulled Joe Harbaugh. They pulled us.
I just refuse to root for the team. I don't like Dan Campbell. I really don't like the organization. I mean, they've ruined so many of my favorite players' careers to the point where it's no, I'm done rooting for the Lions. I actively root against them. I never want them to win. And I know a lot of people root for them because it's it's the Lions. They're so bad. You got to root for them. I'm no, I hate them. They need to be bad forever because they've ruined too many great teams and great players to just be rooted for. You can't just ruin Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, and Herman Moore's, careers and then just be no, yeah, root for us. No, man. You don't get that. But that was a good game. Dallas, they kind of dominated at the end of the game, which I expected. That's the thing about Dallas. Like when you watch them, it's like they're in close games most of the time. But then in the fourth quarter, like they really are able to separate because of Micah Parsons. They can get those turnovers. And then the final score may look like, oh, wow, they beat them by 20 or whatever it is. But in reality, it's like, no, it was a pretty close game. And then they separated. And then in this game, they separated. And then the Giants got like a touchdown with like no time left. To make it a little bit closer. But then the final game, Minnesota, it was fine. Watching Minnesota is just kind of like, the Patriots are not good. And so it's like it's funny because people watch the Patriots and like, oh, the Patriots are good. It's like the Patriots have a good defense. That's all they have. Like Mac Jones sucks. Like, Mac Jones is so bad. There's no reason to think Mac Jones is good. Like he's never going to get better. That's the thing. When he got drafted, it was this is the guy you're going to have, and he's going to be this good for the rest of his career, no matter how long that is. And he's just the same guy. Like he's not going to improve. There's no tools that he can add.
I'm about to say, I don't even think you can put like superstar talent around him. Is going to make things better with him. No.
Yeah.
Seeing Justin Jefferson go off. I mean, this he been doing his thing.
Yeah, finally. My fantasy team was struggling. Like, I got him, and I'm like, he did great week 1, and I was like, oh, yeah, my team's going to dominate. And then it was like, wait a minute, he's putting like back-to-back 5-point weeks. I'm like, man, you got to step back up. He's been bringing it back, though, for the playoffs. I'm trying to make the playoffs, man. Like, my team's good, but.
Hey, man, we rooting for you, man.
Joshua, who are you rooting for today? I think it's a win-win situation. If the Bengals win, Ravens jump the Titans. If the Titans win, Ravens gain a game on the Bengals, assuming the Bengals are able to, or assuming the Ravens win. What do you think is better for the Ravens? What outcome?
It's all rough because we still got, even though we control our own destiny, we still need a little help from somebody. So with that being said, I think I'm gonna have to ride with the Bengals going over Tennessee, just so we can get that extra push, in the placement for the playoffs. I mean, honestly, the way this team has been working, I would rather for our team to have that, that bye. I feel like we deserve. I feel like this team deserves a bye in the playoffs, and we've been working our tails off. And that gives us more time to get more healthy players back. Because if we get a J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, especially around the end of December, going into the playoffs, hey, I'm taking those guys. And we're gonna run that ball all down anybody's throat. And we're gonna have a David Ojabo. We're gonna have Tyus Bowser. Whenever Adolphia Wade wants to show up. Travis Jones, Marcus Williams. Yep. Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, Pepe Williams. Hell, I don't even know if Jalen Armour Davis is going to ever see the field again. But yeah, we might get him back. But then we get Kyle Hamilton back too. So you know what? I'll take all those pieces, and we're gonna ride this wave. And we're gonna wait to see who was our opponent. So I in this case, I'm gonna go Bengals over the Titans.
Yeah, and I see. I think I'm going to go. I think I want the Titans just because I think winning the division is just so big. And I feel like the Titans will lose. I was thinking that. Like, but at the same time, like, really either way is like, oh, sweet, this happened. Like, yeah. Even a tie. Honestly, tie would be great because the Rams would be able to jump both of them. Someone said, go blue. I want to send this text. If you guys don't like swearing, don't look. But this is my text yesterday at 9 a.m. I have Michigan. I had them. Shout out to Jim Harbaugh. Unfortunately, the thing about that game is John watched that and was like, oh yeah, there's about 9 future Ravens on that roster right now.
So, listen, like I said, the only guy I'm willing to bring to Baltimore back home is Blake Corum. That's my boy.
I'm all right with Blake Corum. I'm all right with that. But that backup running back, he looked pretty good. He ran for over like 200 yards in that game.
Listen, Edwards did not look bad at all. And if we being real, Blake was been playing injured. He trying to put the team on his back. Listen, this college. You can't do that. No, you can't always do that. And I understand where his heart was. But, I'm glad they went ahead and got him out of there. As long as they don't try to draft J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, Ajabo is not active. I don't think Marcus Williams is back. He was designated to return to practice. So he's got 3 weeks. I don't think he's playing today. I don't think he's been put on the 53-man roster yet. But maybe next week, I think we could get him. See, what's funny is that's not even the future Raven. The future Raven is Marvin Harrison Jr. That's the future Raven. First overall pick. I don't know how we're getting the first overall pick, but we're trading for the first overall pick.
That's in 2 years, right?
Yeah.
It can happen.
This draft, next draft.
It can happen. We know how it can happen.
I don't know how he's fallen to wherever the Ravens are drafted. I mean, we gotta get like a top 5 pick to get Marvin Harrison Jr.
I mean, we'll talk more about it in the offseason when we see what money is being, distributed and whose contracts are getting extended.
I will say, though, I would love Jackson Smith and Jigba or Jordan Addison.
Yo, you already know where I'm at with it.
Jordan Addison would be sick.
Oh my God.
Problem is, he may climb some draft boards because USC may make a college football playoff, and if he balls out in the college football playoff games against
who they play?
What?
Who they play against?
I think they just beat Notre Dame pretty bad, and then I think the college football or the Pac-12 championship is against. I think it's against Utah.
Utah been balling, low key.
Utah is good. So it's like the thing about him that I've seen that is worrisome, not worrisome. He's great with his feet, just working on that upper body strength. But that's something that most receivers in college, like, they need to work on that, just so that he can work on his hand fighting a little bit, getting off the line of scrimmage. That's like where his big struggles are. But he's great after the catch, terrific route runner, very, very crafty running those routes. And I think he'll probably get drafted after Jackson Smith in Jigba. I think it's going to go. It's probably going to go. Who's going first?
I want to say, how many teams are really desperate for a wide receiver? I mean, the only team I can really think of outside of is maybe the Colts. But
Packers.
Yeah, them too.
Rodgers needs a guy, man.
Okay. So let's ask this. Let's ask chat. After this year, do we think Rodgers is done with the Packers, or does he leave to go somewhere else, or does he finally retire?
We're not that screwed.
Yo, we're gonna get the quarterback from Coastal Carolina, my dude. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it.
Also, speaking of college football, let me give a huge shout out to Mr. David Shaw for stepping down, becoming an announcer, or not an announcer. I think he's becoming an analyst. I think he's already worked for NFL Network. He's been on the NFL drafts, show, like, talking about all those players. Like, he's good, but it's time to bring in someone new. I read an article today on potential coaches, and I jokingly was saying, texting people, and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get Dion as a joke, because Dion would never coach Stanford. That is not the group of guys Dion is trying to coach. But he was on that list, and I thought that was hilarious.
Of course, he's gonna be on everybody's list. I mean,
oh yeah, I want Riley. I want Lincoln Riley's brother. I think his name's Garrett. He's the offensive coordinator at TCU. And he's 33.
It's not bad.
And TCU maybe in the college football playoff. He could be looking. Get him on the West Coast next to his brother.
TCU undefeated, right?
Yeah, they're undefeated. They're probably going to be number 3 in the country.
God dang it! I know he was happy about Oregon losing.
That was great. Yeah, I was watching that game. That was a fun one to watch. That was a really fun one to watch. Just because I hate Oregon. Purely because of that reason. And a team beat them I think they threw 7 passes, and they beat Oregon. I don't know how they put up like 38 points and they beat Oregon throwing 7 passes, but that would be huge.
I caught a little bit of the Bayou Classic with Southern University versus Grambling, and the game wasn't even the highlight. McConnell, you know what the highlight of the game was?
What was it?
One of the guys in the stand, he was warming up his rib. Oh man, I think Southern won.
All right, Joshua, let's do our bold predictions for this game. I don't know actually when it's really going to start. Maybe it starts on time. I haven't seen anything about it getting delayed. Maybe it will be. Severe weather alert is back. I have no idea. I have no idea when it's happening. It says chance of rain diminish after 1:30 p.m. in Jacksonville, so that's pretty soon. So maybe it's half an hour from now. But James Hensley says, rain's been off and on. But
yeah,
Joshua, bold prediction. Let's go offense.
Bold prediction. I'm gonna go. Who's our running backs? Keaton Drake, Mike, and Gus. Gus is playing today.
Gus is in.
Well, I'm gonna go a collective 250 again. 3 touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns.
Okay, I like it. I'm gonna go with. Let's see here. Patrick Ricard, 50-yard touchdown. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's too late. You said it.
That's it. It's over. Like chess. Once you move that piece, it's done. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson puts up 100 on the ground and 2 touchdowns.
I like that.
He's in his Justin Fields era.
Because Justin Fields is the best running quarterback in the league right now, which he is. I'm not going to take that from him. He runs for his life. Lamar just doesn't.
He does run for his life.
These are design plays.
Yeah,
he's breaking down pass plays. So it's a difference.
Let's go to the defensive side of the ball, Joshua. What are you thinking for this game?
Yo, I got 2 picks. You know I got getting these 2 picks?
Who?
Mr.
Marlon?
Right. No, Mr. Right place at the right time.
Gino for 2?
I got Gino for 2, man. Somebody got to step out.
I'm going to go with no touchdowns allowed and a defensive score.
So we skunking them and scoring? Woo, I like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think defensive touchdown goes to the man who was robbed of a defensive touchdown last week by the refs.
Okay.
Mr. All-Pro Marlowe.
I get with that.
And I think it's a pick 6.
For how many yards?
80.
You know what? If you don't get gassed up, I can see him doing it. Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Get some mac and cheese in that fool, and he'll start running.
Yo, his food takes are I can't.
They're so funny. Apparently, he doesn't even run his own Twitter account.
He's a social media
manager, and I'm like, man, they got to be paying him a lot of money to be tweeting that out. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming into the stream. Obviously after the game, make sure to come through as well. We'll be obviously talking, about the game and everything like that. But Joshua, anything left to say before the game gets going?
No, man. It's just I'm glad to have some Ravens football back, man. Let's go ahead and get this W.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see all you after the game, hopefully when the Ravens are 8-3.